Okay, let me start with, before we go to Tosfos and Sanhedrin. Okay, let's first learn, let me start with this. So, Tosfos by us, and the first Tosfos in Gittin seems to answer that if Selavei Savis is Deiraisa, then there's a Chiddush that even though he has a Yad La'atzmei, still he can't be kind for someone else. So Nochem Tzvi asked, L'cheira in the Gemara is mashma that Selavei Savis lav Deiraisa. So it seems like there's a machlekes ameiraim if Selavei Savis Deiraisa, Selavei Savis lav Deiraisa. What it sounds like from Tosfos is that Tosfos is saying that an answer according to the Mandamer that says Selavei Savis Deiraisa. In Gittin he says two answers. One answer of Selavei Savis Deiraisa, one answer of Selavei Savis lav Deiraisa. But so according to Tosfos Bayas, if the answer is Selavei Savis Deiraisa, so what's the other Mandamer going to do? So then the Pshat and Tosfos will be L'cheira that Rabbi Yitzchak goes like the Mandamer Selavei Savis Deiraisa. Rabbi Yitzchak doesn't have to fit with both of them. That's what it seems like. So there's a Sicha in Chelik Chavav in Parshas Bay. That's in Yana D'Yema now. I'm just going to give you the Maramokim. What happens if a katan becomes bar mitzvah now between Pesach Rishon and Pesach Sheni? Does he have to bring a carbon Pesach and Pesach Sheni or not? If he becomes bar mitzvah in the next 2 days. So the halacha is that katan shehigdil bein Pesach Rishon le Pesach Sheni has to bring a carbon Pesach because the halacha is like Rebbe that regel b'fnei atzmeyu. However, the Rambam paskins that this katan who becomes bar mitzvah bein Pesach Rishon le Pesach Sheni, if he krivu all of Barishain, then he doesn't have to bring a carbon Pesach on Pesach Sheni. Das helps to krivu all of Barishain. Barishain is a dachgivan katan, pater mikol mitzvahs. Says the Ketzav Mishnah b'shem Ari Korkos, because since it says Selavei Savis, so therefore, if they shechted on a katan, even though he was a katan, he was mekayim the mitzvah, and it's enough to be nifter from Pesach Sheni. That's what the Mari Korkus answers. Seemingly, the answer is based on the fact that Selavei Savis Deiraisa. Therefore, the Mefarshim ask two questions on the Rambam. One question they ask is that seemingly the maskana is that Selavei Savis lav Deiraisa. And the other question is that the Rambam himself, from another psak of the Rambam, seems like the Rambam holds Selavei Savis lav Deiraisa. So how does the Rambam paskin that the first Pesach helps? So the Rebbe brings a Rab Chaim and a Rogatchover. According to the answer of the Rab Chaim and the Rogatchover, it comes out that even if you say Selavei Savis lav Deiraisa, it's for certain things that it's lav Deiraisa, but his etzem, his involvement, his becoming a part of the Karban Pesach, that's minatera. According to their answer, so what Tosfos says by us is l'kulayam. It's not totally in the machlekes if Selavei Savis Deiraisa or Selavei Savis lav Deiraisa. But that doesn't fit with Tosfos and Gittin, and Tosfos and Gittin hagufa. The way the Rebbe Lepayel explains in the end of that sicha, so you learn the sicha Chil Chavav Parshas Bay. He doesn't learn like them, and he brings a raya from Tosfos that if it's lav Deiraisa, it's for sure lav Deiraisa. Petach tzirik the shaila then. What's the pshat in Tosfos? If you say lefia, so Tosfos could say if it's a machlekes. So then you could still say in Tosfos, like I said before, that Tosfos is answering later man the Amar Selavei Savis Deiraisa, and that Rabbi Yitzchak holds like the man the Amar Selavei Savis Deiraisa. But according to what the other Mefarshim ask on the Rambam, seemingly, that the Maskana Sagemara is Salavei Savas Lav Deraisa, not that it remains a Machlekes. So then what's the Pshat in our Teisvis? And what's the Pshat in the first Teisvis, in the first teretz of Teisvis in Gittin? So it could be the Pshat in our Teisvis is not that Salavei Savas Deraisa and therefore he has a Yad, but that I would think that Salavei Sav is Deiraisa, and therefore I would think that he has a Yad, and if he has a Yad, he could be Zeicha for someone else also. Kamash Malan, that no, Salavei Sav is Lav Deiraisa, which is Al Derech what the second teretz in Teisvis and Gittin says. If this would be Pshat and Teisvis by us, then I'm going to have another gain that I asked you yesterday. The Lashon of Teisvis seems l'cheira hard to understand. Teisvis had a question, Pshita, what do I need a pasuk to say katan eine zeicha ish zeicha v'lei katan zeicha? Of course v'lei katan zeicha, hatach b'chlal nish kiyad. So the answer of Teisvis is, since it says Salavei Sav, it's hatar yayad. L'cheira, the Lashon of Teisvis is very difficult to hold arichas. The soka dai techamina. Teisvis say v'yesh leimer l'gabi karban pesach isla yad. But if the pshat is that really Salavei Sav is Lav Deiraisa, and it's just that if that goof is a chiddush, I could have thought that Salavei Sav is Deiraisa. The Chiyamot is very, then the Lashon of Teisvis is very good. The Yishleim of Teisvis, the Solka Dai Techamina, that when the Torah says a cotton should eat, that's Minat Torah. And it's Al Derech, like Teisvis says, more Mefurish in the second teretz in Gittin. But in the first teretz of Teisvis and Gittin, it's very hard to say this. Then we still have our problem. To say that that's what the first Teisvis and Gittin means also that I would think that he's Chashav LaGadol, because I would think Salavei Sav is Deiraisa. Then what's the difference between the two terutzim of Teisvis and Gittin? Is mashma that it is a machlekes l'fi ha'emes, and that the first Teisvis and Gittin is saying that Rabbi Yitzchak Taka holds Salavei Sav is Deiraisa. Okay, we're going to come back to this. Let's go to Teisvis in Sanhedrin. In Sanhedrin, Daf Samaches Amud Beis. Over there, speaks about a ger shemeis. Katan, the Gemara dashens katan iyat tzarech lachzer alav. Iyat tzarech lachzer, that if a katan who was a ger shemeis, you don't have to check if he has nechas, if he has yershim. Whatever the Gemara is saying, Benegir together lager. Zak Teisvis in Teimar uminole lahai katan mamin. Teisvis has a question: how do you have a hechetimsa that a katan should have possessions? If a katan can't be kaina, he could never own anything. Now, later in the Teisvis is going to say other hechetimsas that it's possible for him to own without having ever been kaina. He could yashin. But the whole first part of Teisvis is assuming that the only way he could have possessions if he was kaina them. If he's not zeich, it's impossible for him to have possessions. So Teisvis asks, how does a katan have mamena? Ha'amrinan ein zechia lekatan. Katan has no zechia, and even if he has others who could be zeich, it's only midrabanan. Because zechia mitenas shlichas. So then Teisvis brings the Gemara in Gittin that we learned, that you see that a katan could be zeicha midiraisa. And Teisvis answers, Das acheres makna shiny. Says that I say mitzias cheres shetev v'katan yeshba and gezelman that he has no zechias when there's no das acheres. So with this, Teisvis is answering all the questions. That in Sanhedrin, it says that it's possible for a ger katan to own possessions. Yeah, he could have possessions with das acheres makna. That it says in Gittin that a katan could be zeichem in a teira, that's with das acheres makna. That it says in Gittin Dafnum test that mitzias katan is begezel only mitzadak shalim, which means that minatera the cotton was kaina because amitzia. There's no das acheres makna. And then Taisus brings with this is understood that it says like likni inish lulavin lianuka. You can't that it says a cotton could be kaina de lulav. Yeah, right, because it's das acheres makna. So here Taisus says with das acheres makna, cotton could be kaina and even minatera. Without das acheres makna, it can't be zeicha. Then Taisus brings our Gemara. Vadam b'reish perak beis de kiddushin ish zeicha ve'ein cotton zeicha. L'chayra by das acheres makna, a cotton could be zeicha. So why does it say ain't cotton zeicha? Right? L'chayra karm pesach is das acheres makna. So far, he's not asking the same question as he asked by us. What's the chiddush? He's asking for karet. Why is the din correct? If it's das acheres makna, and seemingly when he purchases a carbon pesach, it's das acheres makna, can er doch yes zeicha sein? Now, let's get clear. What's his question? He could be zeicha, but he can't. But ein cotton zeicha means he can't be zeicha for someone else. What's Taisus's question? On kiddushin, what's his question on our Gemara? It's das acheres makna, so you could be zeicha. The question is from the Gemara in Gittin, from Rabbi Yehuda, Kopanim is shver, that Rabbi Yehuda says that by das acheres makna is zeicha af la'acherim. How does that fit with kiddushin? That is zeicha. Kiddushin is a case of das acheres makna. Carbon pesach is a case of das acheres makna. Why do we say in a cotton zeicha? Right? Clear? Zok Teisvis. Hainu de ein memana acherim al pischei. First teretz says Teisvis de ein memana acherim al pischei. What does it mean? Ein memana acherim al pischei? Al pischei? This is like the first teretz of Teisvis and Gittin. Teisvis comes over here that with das acheres makna can er zeicha sein, and can zeicha sein la'acherim. Somehow, yeah. So it must be that carbon pesach where we say eina cotton zeicha, there's no das acheres. How is there no das acheres? Obviously, it's talking about where he wants to join someone else in his carbon pesach after he already acquired the carbon. That once he already acquired a carbon, now there's no more das acheres. Now the cotton on his own is trying to be memana acherim. If there's no das acheres, then he can't be mizaka acherim. So that's the same as the first teretz in Gittin. He's being memana acherim when there's no das acheres. Inami, you're also says Teisvis a second teretz. She'ein zeicha la'acherim ka'amar af agav de das acheres makna isam of the leker asi. That the Gemara Taka is talking about with das acheres. And it's saying that even with das acheres, he can't be zeicha la'acherim. Or the leker abasi. And it's talking not going like Rabbi Yehuda Amar Abasi. It's going like Rab Chisda. What does it mean it's going like Rab Chisda? That Rabbi Yitzchak, who makes this drasha, he holds like Rab Chisda. He doesn't hold like Rabbi Yehuda Amar Abasi. And Rabbi Yehuda Amar Abasi, who says that with das acheres, you could be zeicha for someone else, Hitaka is not going to be able to make this drasha ish zeicha v'lei hakatan zeicha. A new teretz. Two important things in this Teisvis. So this Teisvis is similar to Teisvis in Gittin, but says another teretz that's not there in Teisvis in Gittin. In halacha, it's similar to Teisvis in Psachim, that das acheres makna, then you could be kaina, could be zeicha and even lacherim, Teisvis Psachim and in Gittin. Two things come out, we have to point out in this Teisvis before we come back to Teisvis in Gittin. Now, number one, Taisvis doesn't address what's the chiddush. In Taisvis and Gittin and Taisvis Bayas and Kiddushin, Taisvis's problem is, what do I need a pasuk eina katan zeicha? Of course eina katan zeicha. And Taisvis was looking to find what's the chiddush in eina katan zeicha. Taisvis in Sanhedrin says, why taka is eina katan zeicha? But the question is, once Taisvis said that it's talking about without das acheres makna, or it's talking about with das acheres makna, but even with das acheres makna doesn't help l'acherim, what's the chiddush? So according to the inami of Taisvis, hello? According to the inami of Taisvis, I'll say, Hagufa is the chiddush. Since it's a machlekes Rab Chisda and Ravasi, Rab Chisda and Rab Yehuda Ravasi, sounds like the Pasha to Taich and Eina Katan Zeicha is talking about being Zeicha Laz. That's Taisvis in Sanhedrin. Now, the Shar HaMelech, he said, our Taisvis asks, what's the chiddush that Eina Katan Zeicha L'Acherim? And he answers that because by Carbon Pesach there's Xavius Akas of Salavei Savas. The Shar Melech wants to know, why didn't Taisvis answer Das Acherim Makna, which is what Taisvis says in Sanhedrin, in Psachim, and in Gittin. Said the Shar Melech that Taisvis in Bayas holds that even when there's Das Acherim Makna, a cotton still can't be Zeicha. He still can't be Zeicha. Even Latzmai, which is a shita that Taisvis doesn't say in any of these places. I said to you yesterday, L'cheira, what do you have to say that for? You could say that Taisvis Bayas holds that when Das Acheres Makna you could be Kaina. But Taisvis Bayas holds that by Das Acheres Makna you could be Zeicha even L'cheirim. And therefore he was forced to say that the Ish Zeicha Beina Katan Zeicha is talking about when there is no Das Acheres Makna. Just like Taisvis in Gittin and the first teretz of Taisvis in Sanhedrin. And if there is no Das Acheres Makna, so you have to say that it's Mitzad Xeris HaKasav. But Ladina Taisvis holds that if there's Das Acheres Makna, Itaka has a schus. So I said to you yesterday, L'cheira, there's a diok in the Lashon of Taisvis, like the Shar HaMelech. And the diok is that Taisvis, there's a difference between Taisvis Bayas and Taisvis in Gittin. Taisvis in Gittin says Chashiv K'mei Gadol. Taisvis Bayas doesn't say Chashiv K'mei Gadol. He just says the din that because Salavei Savas Deiraisa. Taisvis in Gittin who says Chashiv K'mei Gadol L'cheira is because it's like the Shar HaMelech. They're talking about two different answers. Taisvis in Gittin had to answer that it's a case when the Zeicha L'Acherim, he wanted to be Miman Acherim al Piskei, not B'shas Tekinyan. So there's no Das Acheres. He had to answer that because he said that Das Acheres Makna you could be Zeicha even L'Acherim according to Rabbi Yehuda Ravasi B'dei Raisa. Not like Rashi over there who says it's B'dei Rabbanan. So if Zeicha L'Acherim in Atera, then the Ish Eina Katan Zeicha L'Acherim must be without Das Acheres. If it's without Das Acheres, so what's the Havamina? The Havamina had to be not because he has a Yad, because the Yad that he has is B'shas Tekinyan. If he wants to be Mizaka L'Acherim, Shaloi B'shas Tekinyan, that's at the time when he doesn't have a Yad. The Torah didn't give him a Yad after he made the Kinyan, and therefore Taisvis had to come on over there to the Svara Chashiv K'mei Gadol. Even though the Taisvis Harash says that Svara in our Gemara like it. Masha'en came by Yas Taisvis doesn't say the Svara of Chashiv K'mei Gadol. It's mashma because talking about B'shas, he's being kind of the Carbon Pesach. That there it's enough to Svara that the Torah gave him a Yad to explain the Havamina. He doesn't have to say Chashiv K'mei Gadol. But if he's talking about B'shas, he's being kind of the Carbon Pesach. So b'shas he's being kind to the carbon Pesach is dachta das acheres makna. So then you have to say like the Shah Melech that our Tosfos holds das acheres makna doesn't give him a yad, because otherwise he wouldn't need to Gzeres HaKosov. So from this shinui that our Tosfos doesn't mention the prat of chashiv k'mei gadol is mashma like the Shah Melech. That our Tosfos means a different teretz. He doesn't mean the teretz of Tosfos and Gittin. And if so, then it's correct, the diktuk of the Shah Malach, that our Tosfos must hold that even das acheres makna, there's no kinyan takat. However, l'cheira kemi medayik zayin fakert. In our Tosfos is left with a question. L'cheira, right? What's the question that our Tosfos is left with? Tosfos in Kiddushin Bayas. The question is, Ein shlichus l'katan. Even if I know for sure that a katan has a yad, for some reason he has a yad, but he can't be zeichel la'acherim because ain't shlichus l'katan. That was the question of Tosfos and Pesachim. Tosfos said mehacha nafka. That was the question of Tosfos in Gittin, and their Tosfos answered that where the katan is isa b'din ashay, then he does have shlichus. In Tosfos in Sanhedrin asks the question, and he doesn't exactly say how he's answering it. What happened to that question? Tosfos and Kiddushin answer that he has a yad la'atzmei. Fine, he has a yad la'atzmei. There's two very big questions, right? They could go in either order. One question is, if a katan can't be kaina for himself, then of course he can't be zeichel la'acherim. The other question is that if a katan could be kaina for himself, he still can't be kaina for others because chiyah mitam shlichus. To say that Tosfos Bayas and Kiddushin is going like the shita that's chiyah not mitam shlichus, and therefore he doesn't have that question, is a very big deichik, because Tosfos' shita is that chiyah mitam shlichus. B'chol mokim in Ksubis, we're going to see that's going to be the next sugya we're going to learn, and that's why you see b'chol mokim Tosfos asks this question in Sanhedrin and Pesachim and Gittin. Our Tosfos doesn't ask this question. So what are you going to tell me? What someone will say that Tosfos holds of the same teretz as in Pesachim, mehacha nafka. That's a difficulty. Because it's not a davar pashut, right? You see Tosfos, even though Rashi says that, you see Tosfos has the bavarn. In every place Tosfos has the question. And in Gittin, Tosfos does nishtan. He doesn't even want to say mehacha nafka because he has another mucker. Even in Pesachim, Tosfos says it as a vechitema. That means this question that even if he's kind for himself, he can't be kind for himself. You see, Tosfos sees that as a big question. To say that Tosfos Bayas had angenommen in this answer that mehacha nafka is so pashut he didn't have to say it, seems a little bit difficult. Now let's remind ourselves, what are the possible answers for this question? That even naniach that a katan has a yad for himself, what's the possible answers for that? Mehacha nafka, right? Good, that's the pasuk Gufas teaching us the katan doesn't have shlichus. That be'isa din nafshei he does have shlichus. The answer of Tosfos and Gittin. What other possible answer is that? What's the answer of Tosfos and Sanhedrin?
through Das Acheres.
Das Acheres. Seemingly, Tosfos in Sanhedrin says Das Acheres Kishela Atzma works not just for himself, but for the Acherim also. The Das Acheres is makna to the Acherim. We'll get into maybe why does Tosfos in the other places not hold of that svara. Doesn't accept it yet. It's not a part. But so we have three possibilities. Either the svara of Das Acheres doesn't only give him a yad for himself. The Das Acheres takes away the problem of even Acherim, so you don't need shlichus. He's not being kainal Acherim al shliach. The Das Acheres is being makna to Acherim. Or that since he's Isa b'din Avshei, he has shlichus, or mehacha nafka. Tosfos Bayas seems to ignore the question. So what could we say? How come Tosfos doesn't answer that question? He doesn't ask it, but when he finishes with the first question, how does he ignore this other question? I could say, if Tosfos Bayas means the teretz of Tosfos in Gittin, if when Tosfos says he has a yad, he doesn't mean just that he has a yad, but he's chashuv k'mei gadol, then he has no question from shlichus. If I say that the gzeiras hakasuv of Salvei Savis is not just a gzeiras hakasuv that he has a yad to be kainah, but it's a gzeiras hakasuv that legabe karban Pesach is considered like a gadol, so then I don't have a question that katan la bar shlichus, a gadol is a bar shlichus. In Gittin, he didn't use that svara to say how he's zeichel acherim, because his question wasn't only on Karban Pesach. His question was on Rabbi Yehuda bar Avasi, how could he be zeichel acherim? But in our Tosfos, in the question, Eina ish zeicha, what's the chiddush? I say, because the havamin of chashuv k'mei gadol, if I had such a havamin, that would explain even how he's zeichel acherim. Oh, so if so, from the fact that Tosfos doesn't give any answer on shlichus, seems like the pshat in the teretz of Tosfos that he says over here is not that yad, but the same as Tosfos in Gittin, the chashuv k'mei gadol, because otherwise, how does Tosfos ignore the question of shlichus? So I have a deichik in each way. In the fact that Tosfos doesn't mention those words chashuv k'mei gadol, he just says seemingly that he has a kinyan, is mashma that he's talking about b'shas the kinyan with das acheres makna. Is mashma like the Shar HaMelech that over here he holds that das acheres makna doesn't help, which would come out that this Tosfos is at odds with all the other three Tosfos. Le'idach, from the fact that Tosfos ignores the question of shlichus, that a katan lav bar shlichus, is mashma that the answer that he said answers also the question of shlichus. How does it answer the question? That's only if he means the same as he said in Gittin, chashuv k'mei gadol. So either I have to say a little bit of a deichik that even though he didn't say it, he means chashuv k'mei gadol. And like I told you, as they state in the Tosfos Rashi Kiddushin, or I have to say a deichik that even though he didn't say mehacha nafka, but he means over here mehacha nafka. So by each of these diyukim, one of them will make us say like the Shar HaMelech, one of them will make us say not like the Shar HaMelech. One more thing, we left off with a big question on Tosfos and Gittin. The Tosfos and Gittin says that you learn that a katan can't be a shliach from atem gam matem, and nevertheless, milsa the isa bin nafshei, he could be a shliach, which goes against what we learned in the Gemara, against the Gemara that a ovid kechavim is isa betruma bin nafshei, but if he's nismayit from atem gam matem, kanen is zayin a shliach. Leimatzana yadeinu v'ragleinu, what's the pshat in that Tosfos? The Peladik Tosfos. So the question is very, very strong.
What was the shadow again?
Tosfos said, again, on this question, how could a katan be a shliach? How could he be zeichel acherim? There's no shlichus lekatan. So Tosfos in Sanhedrin answers because by das acheres makna he could be zeichel acher. Seemingly, the pshat in Tosfos in Sanhedrin is when it's das acheres makna, you don't need shlichus. Tosfos in Gittin answered that over here, where he's isa b'dinafshei, which is to be zeicha, since he could be zeicha for himself, so he could be zeicha lacherim also. He's not in this mayit for shlichus in something that he could be zeicha, that he's isa b'dinafshei. The question is, what we learned in our sugya seemingly clearly is that anything that he's nismayit from the Gzeres HaKasav of Atem Gam Atem, it doesn't help Isa B'din Nafshei. Like Anochri, those are two. The Isa B'din Nafshei helps for something that you would want to disqualify him because Einei B'teiras, if he's Isa B'din Nafshei, he is B'teiras. But if his psul is because of Atem Gam Atem, we'll say it's Isa B'din Nafshei. Paladikatesis. So possibly we could answer that Tosfos again with the same Yisayis that we learned in the previous shir, which is based on the Sicha and Chelek Lamed Gimel, which is the general inyan of Atem Gam Atem is teaching me that a shliach has to be similar to the Mishaleach, because if not, you can't have the first base. You can't have the first step of the shliach getting a chaleis shem shliach. To get a chaleis shem shliach, which means the shliach and the Mishaleach are one, there can't be this dissimilarity between Atem and the Gam. There's a limit how much he has to be the same as the Mishaleach. So the Gemara says, and that's the din muskam, ma'atem b'nei bris, av shluchachem b'nei bris. Doesn't say anywhere in the Gemara, ma'atem b'nei das, av shluchachem b'nei das. Clearly it doesn't say that in the Gemara, because otherwise Tosfos and Rashi and Pesachim couldn't say me'hacha nafka. The fact that they're able to say me'hacha nafka, obviously there's no clear makar in Gemara of where a cotton is nismayed from Parashat Shlichus. And like we'll see as we get into the next sugya of Zechia, where there's other mekadas for cotton not being a bar shlichus. Elamai, Tosfos is learning from here. Since we see always in Gemara that a cotton is not bar shlichus, Tosfos is learning that where did the Gemara get this from? The Gemara took an extension. That just like Rab Chia bar Abba says there's a din of ben bris, there's also a din of ben das. But says Tosfos, there's a difference. Learns Tosfos. This is how we could say pshat and Tosfos. Al derech, the svaras we learned in the past, there's a difference between the t'nai of ben bris and the t'nai of ben das. The t'nai of ben bris is the basic similarity. There has to be like a minimal dimyan, a minimal similarity between the shliach and the mishaleach. The minimal similarity is that he's a ben bris. If you don't have a ben bris, kenish chalaf zayin afem shem shliach. That's the halacha. And therefore, no matter what, even if he's Isa b'teiras, like Anochri, who's Isa b'truma b'dinafshei, so he's Yeshne b'teiras truma, he still can't be a shliach because he's not even the minimal daim of Mishalech. However, then we have another din, another divyan of being a ben das. Ben das, so we'll say the ben bris is the very definition of the Mishaleach. His mohus is that he's a ben bris. A ben das is a detail, is a more superficial gather of him. Because a Mishaleach is sometimes a ben das, sometimes not a ben das. There's cheresh, sheitav, v'katan, there's different types. Yisraelim, that's his definition, that's the klal. But within Yisraelim, there's b'nei das and there's not b'nei das. B'nei das is a more detailed similarity. Not every shlichus needs the more detailed similarity. Tutuf Tosfos, we say a katan is not a ben shliach, because when the shlichus needs a strong dimyan, when you need a stronger darga of shlichus, when you need a stronger koyach of shlichus. So it's not enough the dimion of Ben Bris. He needs to be even more daima to the Mishaleach, the dimion of also being a Ben Das. But where you don't need such a strong level of shlichus, so then you have the din of Rab Chia bar Abba, Rabbi Yechon, Amat, Tan B'nai Bris. That's the basics of shlichus. Aber zu neben das weiter that you have to be a Ben Das, that you don't need. Is Magdir Taisvis? What's the Hagdara? What's the criteria of what's considered a shlichus, where you need the high, stronger dimion, and what's considered a shlichus where it's enough to lesser dimion? So this is the svara that we had until now. Something that the shliach cannot lein nishtan. If it's something that the shliach doesn't have a koyach to do, if shlichus would have to give him the koyach to do it, so you would need a stronger shlichus. And since you would need a stronger shlichus, his whole ability to do it is only mikoyach shlichus. For that, you would need the dimion of Ben Das also. So therefore, for example, by shlichus of gerushin, that the katan is not a bar gerushin, he can't do this get. He doesn't have the. So therefore, for him to be a the not being a Ben Das is also a psul in that shlichus. And therefore, a katan is puzzle for that shlichus, even though he's a Ben Bris. You need a higher level of shlichus. Mashekin a shlichus that be'etzim the koyach, the katan has the koyach to do it. There is enough, a lesser level of shlichus. That's what we learned over and over, this smara. B'meila zakteitz, since a katan is isa b'schiyah de nafshei, since he has the koyach of being koina, by das acheres makna, das acheres makna, he's able to be koina. B'meila, if he's isa b'de nafshei, the shlichus darf nicht ufton as they feel. The shlichus doesn't have to give him such a strong empowerment. He has the power by himself. There, even though the Ma'atam B'nai Bris is the basic dimion, that you need no matter what. And therefore, I have a kichavim, even though he's isa b'd nafshei, kind of does tishtan, but a katan is isa b'd nafshei, the extra dimion of Ben Das, that you don't need over here. That's how we could explain Taisvis that it fits with the Gemara that we learned. Lefizah, maybe we could say, what's the Taisvis in the other places doesn't hold of this one. Right? Taisvis in Hadrian, Taisvis in Psachim, clearly doesn't hold of this one. Taisvis by us, we're left with, I'm not sure how Taisvis is addressing. That's the last thing that I told you. The other Taisvis don't hold of this. Why does the other Taisvis not hold of it? It could be the Taisvis in Gittin, this svara, that if being kaina is considered something that he's isa b'din nafshei, and therefore he could be a shliach or medafter. That depends on how I learned the basic havana of das acheres makna. What's the pshat das acheres makna? We say a katan ein lo yad, but by das acheres makna yesh lo yad. Is it the pshat? A kinyan could be done in two ways. A kinyan could be done mitzad the koina, that he brings it into his rishus, or the kinyan could be done mitzad the makna, that the makna puts it into his rishus. By adas acheres makna means the kinyan is happening, being done by the makna. So therefore it doesn't bother us that katan ein lo yad, while the katan tutnish the kinyan. He's just the property. He's the one who it's being put into. That's one way we could understand das acheres makna. The other way we could understand das acheres makna is that when there's a das acheres makna, you don't need as strong of a kinyan. And therefore, even though a katan doesn't have a yad, he doesn't have a yad to do a strong kinyan, but he has a yad to do a small kinyan. And like we'll see when we learn Sechia in Taisvis and Ksubis, there's different dargis in kinyan, different dargis in Sechia. The nafkamina between these two ways is, could I consider the fact that a katan could be koina by das acheres makna, could I consider mitzadat that a katan is isa b'din nafshei? If I say the way Das Acheres Makna works is that the Das Acheres is doing the kinyan, so even by Das Acheres Makna, it's not the pshat that the katan has ever a koyach to be kaina. The katan never has a koyach. Just by Das Acheres, he doesn't need the koyach because the Das Acheres did the kinyan, the Makna did the kinyan. So you can't come inside this and say that when he's being kaina for someone else, he's enough shay. He's not being kaina. He never has a koyach to be kaina. And when you want to give him a koyach mitzat shlichus, you need the highest level of shlichus, and that's why the tesis in Pesachim and in Sanhedrin never nishtandi svara possibly. Mashenkin, if I learn that Das Acheres Makna eases off. If the Das Acheres Makna, he's like lessening his hold on it, and therefore you need a weaker kinyan, and you need a weaker kinyan, so then even a cut could be kaina, then you'll have the swar of Tesis and Gittin that the cut could be kaina by Das Acheres Makna means that whenever there's a Das Acheres Makna for such a kinyan, a cut is isa b'din afshei, and therefore that's a reason why he works by him shlichus, because when he's isa b'din afshei, it's enough the fact that he's a ben bris to be able to be a shliach. So just to add to this, the last point, so then it comes out, Tesis in Sanhedrin is learning the pshat and Das Acheres Makna is that the Makna is doing the kinyan, not the katan. If the Makna is doing the kinyan, so therefore maybe Tesis in Sanhedrin, that's why he holds Tesis. How does he answer the question of shlichus? According to Tesis and Sanhedrin, the Das Acheres Makna is an explanation not just how he has a yad, but since Das Acheres Makna, therefore can zeicha zayin lacherim. Shlichus, how does he deal with the problem of shlichus? He doesn't say how. Seemingly, if Das Acheres Makna means the Makna is doing the whole kinyan, so the katan took garnish. So just like the Makna could be Makna to the katan, he could be Makna through the katan to Acherim because it's the Makna doing it. So the same way, if that's Pshat and Das Acheres Makna, the same way that the Svar of Das Acheres Makna explains how the katan is paying for himself, it explains how the katan is kaina is zeichel Acherim, and you don't have to bavar and decide extra question of katan ein lishlichas. Upon him, Kenya Shleimar. Dikir is what I told you in the beginning of Seder. Darf sein ish zeiche, jeder darf sein a ish, und mit darf sein Sachen laden shlei befana, und machen a tikkun in den Jahren, was mit darf haben.